3 things happened last time that are relevant to recap.
Haseo joined the game and got PK'd. Then, he joined the guild, the Twilight Brigade, of his rescuer. And finally, upon finding a lead about their goal, the Key of the Twilight, the twit cat girl of the group jumped to conclusions that had no basis in reality, all in the hopes of promoting her senpai.
This will make them notice Senpai. Maybe then he will notice me.
We're a bit into episode 6 now, but I want you to watch a few moments of its opening, as they spend minutes of just basic animations of the Twilight Brigade members slumming around, with little animation as the soundtrack just plays.
That is just fucking lazy, and another of my complaints with Roots. The pacing is horrendous.
Yes, Sign had moments like this scattered throughout the series, but they served a purpose, primarily to accent the loneliness and depression of Tsukasa, our then protagonist, or thoughts of introspection among the cast. Hell, towards the tail end when Tsukasa and Subaru were forming a relationship, it was to accent the comfort the pair drew from the other's presence.
Visual storytelling! They were conveying something in a manner other than words. Whereas in this show, they use it to fill time because the episode ran short. Do something!
Anyways, Tawawaya plays his hand about the dual recruitment with Sakisaka, which gets the scene gunner to distrust him, as Shino calls him and Tabby out to try exploring normal areas for clues, which, if they were any form of a competent group, they would have done while waiting to hear back on other matters simply to level up their members. Anyways, a system anomaly hits, raining down on the pair that damages Data, deleting Sakisaka's weapons, as Ender chooses now to attack, forcing Tabby to put out a general call, which Haseo receives, coming to rescue them. Personally, with what I know about the later parts of the series, I think this was deliberate, to either force a reconciliation between the parties, remove unimportant members of the Twilight Brigade, or force something in Haseo, that gift Ovan desires, to awaken. It does, in some form, banishing the glitch and revealing that Sakisaka was in fact their potential mole, while Tabby completely forgets to consider apologizing for her harassment and alienation of a guy who it's already really hard to get to trust people.
And she can't seem to figure out why he would outright refuse her help later in the series.
With Tan still on their cases and their members infesting every part of Makanu, the Twilight Brigade are pretty much stuck in their at-home, lest they be accosted when they go out, the guild repeatedly trying to bait them out with various bits of carefully misplaced information. All because Tan's heads think the brigade does have a legitimate lead on the key. Shino orders the Kohai trio to hunt through the Lost Grounds, as they are easy to leave in case they are attacked, and all the cores they've found have been done there, supporting my theory that the entire debacle last ep was a ruse. Tan begins stockpiling supplies and manpower for a later op, now be making plans to dump any of their illegal actions on Tawaraya, fully expecting the guild to be suspended in the future and viewing it as an acceptable loss. The trio hunt through the Lost Grounds, a number of them now bearing a triangular A-shaped scar Tawaraya would later dub as signs. Thing is, last time they were there, these signs weren't, and it's common knowledge CC Corp can't touch the Lost Grounds. The one in Kashibajar glows and the area glitches, teleporting the 3 players, ending up in the next episode at Arcade Colon. And after that, they hit up the Cool Grounds Cathedral, both Sakisaka and Tabby falling prey to a fall through the map glitch as Ender strikes, again, though she's called away before she can do anything.
And the point of all this was...
Anyways, Gord finds out about the virus cores, and to hold something over Ovan, tracks one down, the core being in the hands of the player killer Bordeaux, who's with her partners Grain and Negimaru.
The trio, team only one target, will be relevant in the games, but their use here? Pretty pointless, as there's nothing given about them. They are only used because of that later relevance to try and say, see, there is a point to this prequel anime that's bad at its job.
Though, due to the crap they pull later, I get a bit of amusement from them getting their asses handed to them. And Gord claims the core. While Tabby and Sakisaka reset their PCs, Haseo and Shino check out one of Haseo's assumptions about the cores at Kashibajar, that they resonate with the pillars in the area, meaning whatever the cores do, Key of the Twilight or no, it's done there. He comes back later, under the stalking gaze of Ender, and finds another glitched boundary wall, with the last of the cores inside. With all of the cores now in someone's hands, Ovan orders the group to prepare for the trip, as Tan likewise preps their team. They're not after the Key of the Twilight, though, but that would be a nice bonus. What Tan is actually after is literally Ovan's player character.
The problem with a lot of Ovan's plans, though, involves understanding human nature. In the games, he has that. Here, not so much.
An example of this is him expecting all of the cores to come if the brigade publicly deploys to Kashibajar, despite only having 4 of the 6.
While he could guess Gorn, who has a public grudge against him, that would take the time to grab one, there is absolutely no way he could have known that Sakisaka gave the core he got from Tawaraya back, and then need to get it back after they've already deployed. So when you learn of his ultimate goals and his long game plan to complete it, it comes off less as a Xanatos Gambit and more Gambit Roulette. I need to spend less time on TV tropes.
So yeah, Sakisaka goes to get the core just as Tan's Black Ops Division shows up to attack the brigade, Gorn also showing and fighting Haseo to try and get to Ovan, while said Steam Gunner faces Ender. B-Set, for some reason, also shows.
Yeah, she's been regularly appearing in the show up to now. I've been leaving her out much as I have been Philo because her scenes throughout go as thus.
I want to help, but I don't want to get used. I don't want the stigma of the guild on my back. Ovan, I hate you. And yet...
Repeat ad nauseum her complaining, mainly to Philo, who I have likewise left out of a lot of the scenes for because he's been an advice and expositional robot, with rare exception, as the wizened old wizard. See, it's cliche as his class is the Harvest Click. Moving on.
Anyways, Philo finally got through to her to finally settle the matter, or move on and stop moping about it, and if they really are finding the key with this escapade, she wants to be involved. Tawaraya kicks Sakisaka's ass, but gives him the core regardless, allowing him to come back, and for Tan to back off as the group activates the gate. The Six defend Ovan as he enters the hidden lost ground, the inverted city of Megan Fee, and Naobi's trap.
Yeah, no, that made absolutely no sense. For several reasons.
1. It's been established that even the administrators cannot affect the lost grounds, and Megan Fee is a lost ground located within a lost ground. 2. Ovan was generating the virus cores the team were using to access Megan Fee. Albie doesn't have the capability to generate them to hack the gate to even get here. So how was he even able to do this? 3. Why? Ovan is regularly alone in the game. Why the elaborate trap when you could set something up in one of the areas he frequents? Hell, you did this to a lost ground, and he spends a hell of a lot of time at Arcade Colne. And that's just off the top of my head. I bet there are more reasons why this plan is stupid. The reason they've been after Ovan is a bit simpler to explain, though. His character is abnormal, holding within it an enormous amount of data, bigger in size than Seth MacFarlane's ego. And Naobi is going to find out why. Tan's Special Forces retreats, but as Haseo comes after Ovan, the Steam Gunner and Naobi have disappeared. The brigade thinks that Ovan must have claimed the key, but immediately after he fails to return, cracks in the team reopen, Sakisaka claiming he must have taken it for himself. Shino is more distraught, however, as she knows Ovan in real life, and he hasn't responded to her messages at all. And with the brigade coming apart again, she doesn't know if she can handle it.
I'm so sorry. It's just... I have to stay strong.
You know what, Shino? You are staying strong.
Shows she plays her backup plan. Before they went, Ovan gave Shino a copy of blackmail material on Tan, which would shut down the guild, and presents her ultimatum to Tawaraya, who, as I said, was oblivious to now being Ender's true activities.
I'm asking you, please give Ovan back.
I'm pretty sure I don't have that kind of merchandise.
The new 1-1 scale Ovan PC. He shoots, he slashes, he plays mysterious charismatic madman. Comes complete with sealed arms of mystery that will leave your lady dying to know what it contains. Now available in the following varieties: suave, domineering, menacing, and undead. Only $49.99.99 plus shipping and handling.
Shino's ultimatum makes Tawaraya panic, and he begins doing as she asked, try to find Ovan. But his time expires and Tan is shut down, now being Ender retreating with the captured Ovan to a special area as they continue their analysis. With Tan being shut down and the key rumors, it puts the brigade on the map, Haseo attempting to avoid his newfound celebrity status. Tawaraya, his account being suspended, comes to Haseo on his final day to apologize for his conduct, and asks that he spread the moniker of Signs to anyone who asks about said Lost Ground symbols. B-Set and Gordon decide to quit the game as well, having gotten closure as far as Ovan is concerned, as the rest of the brigade continues to collapse. Tabby being a naive moron, Sakisaka not able to get over his issues with Ovan, pretty much what he's been saying the entire series. Philo is contacted by Naobi to pass a message on to Shino, to move on, as they don't intend to ever release Ovan. But Shino has faith that he will return, going so far as to deny the point of the entire guild as being pointless.
I've come to the conclusion that we were wrong, and the key of the Twilight does not exist.
Ahem.
Suppose it's real. Then it will be more exciting.
You're an idiot!
And of course, she makes it worse by saying why Ovan won't be back without explaining herself at all, which makes Sakisaka quit, Tabby going after him.
Why are you always so blindly and annoyingly cheerful?
That's what I want to know!
Anyways, Naobi and Ender, now using their true player characters of Yatta and Pai, continue their analysis of Ovan's data, finding similar data in the world they begin tracking. Anyways, most of the episode is just more Ovan comics, so I'll skip to the core of it. Shino disbands the brigade, not wanting to drag them along in her inability to do anything but wait. However, Haseo isn't giving up on her, deciding to stay in the game with her, the two sharing...
If you ever need someone to talk to...
I have absolutely no idea. This is again my thing with the show. It's supposed to give us these emotional foundation to care, but it's not succeeding. Instead of giving us moments that show how strong these bonds are, that they'll motivate others and lead to passionate reactions at their loss, we have nothing! Absolutely nothing!
Anyways, the episode ends with Shino declaring her resolve to stay until Ovan comes back, changing her character model to reflect a more gothic outlook.
I'm not like her. Aura lost hope for this world and decided that she had to run away.
Yeah, you're not being hunted by the minions of an evil corporate entity intent on killing you or your daughter. Then again, she doesn't know that part of why Aura left.
And so... they wait. Supposedly, this is when the two begin to really bond as more than just friends, but we never get shown that. Despite Tabby and Sakisaka making their own guild, they have no members, no mission statement, no purpose, and no members. So when Sakisaka's other friends invite him to move to another game, he decides to take them up on it, offering Tabby a chance to come with.
Yes, go! Leave this series behind! Go! Go!
I don't know. Shino's still playing, so...
Damn it! Ah!
Haseo, however, gets some karmatic payback, as he encounters the PKs Asta and Ioten, who killed him on day 1, and in battle, it eliminates not just them, but all of their friends. The world glitches, and Shino, while talking to Tabby, receives a message that has her running to cool grounds. Tabby forwards this odd reaction to Haseo, and when he comes and investigates... a sign has been carved into Aura's altar, and Shino, a victim in its creation. Haseo tries to revive her, but the damage is different. We've seen how characters look when PK'd, and this is far, far different. Shino's character literally dissolving the specks of data. Haseo trying any way he can to try and contact her, as he too knows this isn't normal.
Stella!
Shino wakes briefly in the real world, unable to move, before falling comatose. A lost one. I wonder if Haseo can contact a data recovery agency to fix that.
Now, normally, with everything we've seen in this franchise about how dangerous technology has become and its capabilities, I'd be treating this with dead seriousness and not attempting to crack wise. However, as I said, with no emotional attachment to these people, it just comes off as them overreacting to a system bug. You don't get why Haseo takes all this so personally, because he barely ever emotes to anything.
It's like they gave each and every character only one personality trait, as they didn't even try to make them real people, which was one of the big draws of this franchise. The characters come off as real people.
A few months ago, I ripped the Legend of the Twilight anime a new one. My opinion has not changed on that series, but at least there was an emotional depth to it. They failed in explaining a lot of it, and the story was a wasted mess, but at least you could care if you got past the stupid.
The closest to caring you get here is learning because Haseo was the last call on Shino's phone. Her parents blamed him and him alone about what happened to their daughter. We learned Shino lived alone, and the only reason she didn't die from her body wasting away is her offline friends noticed she was missing, and her landlord came to check on her at least a day after the incident. We know Shino doesn't have the best of health, so even by Lost One standards, she ended up in really bad shape before she even got to the hospital.
Oh, like I was responsible.
And we'd react more if the show gave us a reason to care, saw her actions, her spirit, grew to like her as a person and not just a cipher to move the story forward.
It's like characters in Christopher Nolan-styled movies. A lot come off less as people and more expositional robots.
You do end up caring. You do. In the games, you see Haseo's journey to save Shino and anyone else that has ended up like this. You see scenes of why he, Shino, and Ovan would matter to the others, even if they're told in flashbacks. But this anime, which was supposed to supply them in the first place, be the prequel to those events and show the roots of that relationship, completely failed to do so.
So the rest of the series revolves around Haseo attempting to gain power and find the son of a bitch that did this to Shino. And his first clue comes from Philo, who was attacked by an normal player character whose weapons possessed 3 blades. And the signs are made from 3 strokes. Thus, they come to the conclusion that this unnamed PC, dubbed Tri-Edge, is the one responsible for Shino's condition. Philo barely got away, only because Tri-Edge actually stopped attacking. But had it gone on? Philo is a harvest cleric, a strong one, but a support skill set character. So if Haseo can't even beat him, which he can't in a surprisingly detailed battle...
I'd say surprisingly, because the battles in the show, like a lot of other things, have been terrible.
that Haseo loses, meaning he has to get stronger and gain information on who this guy is, why he's attacking people, and why no one has ever seen him in the towns, and why people killed by him become lost ones. But that is lost upon him as Philo drops one final bombshell.
Shino and Ovan. This is where they first met each other.
And that's when he realizes all he's ever been to Shino is a replacement for a man that has abandoned her. And now that she is lost, that's all he'll ever be. Episode 15 is filler.
Where was your goddamn filler during the first 14 episodes? Do you know how much we could have used it to give depth to people we've now removed from the story instead of wasting our fucking time?
Anyways, yeah, filler, which introduces new characters. I'd complain it excludes the old ones, but in the course of 3 episodes, we lost more than half the cast. First are the twin newbies, Wool and Cashmere, who are on so the younger of the two can blow off steam as their parents are effectively killing him with cram schools so he can pass his middle school entrance exams. And then there's Kun.
Kun is one of the few characters in this mess that will eventually evolve into a secondary/main character in the games, for good reason. And the man behind the character is one we've also met, Katsumi Tomonari.
For those who have forgotten, Katsumi Tomonari was the instigating factor and linchpin, lost one, that helped form the Liminality faction of the Dot Hackers. Through Jin Tokuoka getting more in-depth details on his specific coma incident, and assistance from his girlfriend Mai Minase, and his gaming partners of Yuki and Kyoko. Without them, the servers would have crashed before Kite and company could take down Kubiya, and thus save everyone in the Twilight incident. Here, he's just bumming around, between guilds at the moment. He encounters the siblings through Philo via Tabby, who had taken the brothers on a Welcome to the World dungeon trip.
And they had gotten their asses handed to them.
The primary problem being that Tabby, despite months of experience in the game, knew less about how to do anything than the two that had just logged on for the first time.
Yeah, Sagisaka was a terrible senpai. It's no wonder he never noticed her.
So Kun, after hearing about it, takes the trio to learn how to properly play it, getting them to the point where they can get karmatic payback and beat the monster that thrashed them. The kids had fun, and Kun's found a new direction. Help new players learn the ropes so they aren't preyed on as much by player killers and abused by other unscrupulous factions in the game. And what did Tabby get out of this?
Nothing! Absolutely nothing!
16 opens with Taihaku, another player who will have relevance in the games, encountering Ovan, who at some point was released from captivity.
Technically that happened a few episodes ago, but spoilers.
Haseo is still in the triage kick, having visited Shino in the hospital, and the doctors not knowing the first thing and trying to treat her.
Really? Did no one ever make the world connection? It's been 7 years since the coma cases. Did none of them remember that or have a colleague available for consultation that recognized that? Anyone? Bueller?
Anyways, a new event has opened in a special lost ground, the Forest of Pain, which many players believe is unbeatable.
See, the Forest of Pain contains every single monster in the game, including boss monsters, and you have to hunt through the massive 100-floor dungeon to find a central altar while beating or avoiding every enemy that you can.
The fight with Haseo and Philo actually comes from this episode, and is in part what inspires him to enter it, and see if he can't use it as a shortcut to becoming stronger. An idea that grows because the adept overhears several people considering the event's timing fortuitous due to all of the tri-edge attacks.
All I have to do is get stronger. Stronger.
Ah! That face!
What the hell were the animators thinking?
I need some time. I'll see you all back here for part 3.
Can I stay like this? Just for a while.